Hi everyone, Nigel Tutt here from Priority One. Today we've got Steve Saunders with us from Robotics Plus. Steve's been a board member of ours actually for quite a long period of time. I think our longest serving board member and a massive supporter of innovation in the Bay of Plenty and New Zealand. So he's recently announced that Robotics Plus will be sold to Yamaha. So we thought it was a really opportune time to have a bit of a chat to Steve about the sale and what's next really. So Steve, welcome. You announced last week, and I think Yamaha did as well, that a sale had happened. So what's happened there? You already had some shareholding by Yamaha. They've now taken everything?
Yeah, so obviously Yamaha invested in us first in 2017 with a little bit of a safe note out of their venture fund in California. And in 2018, that was transferred to Yamaha Japan off their balance sheet, where they did a more significant investment in 2018. And from 2018 through to now, they've continued to support our growth as we've been able to tick boxes of proving ourselves, I guess, over time, and to the point where they've worked through what their strategic strategy was for agriculture globally, and they decided to launch into agriculture. So on the same day that the announcement of acquiring Robotics Plus happened, they announced Yamaha Agriculture as well. So Robotics Plus forms the foundation of Yamaha Agriculture, so that's pretty exciting for us.
Yeah, wow. And so for those of us here in the Bay, do we still call it Robotics Plus, or do we call it Yamaha Agriculture? Or?
Yeah, no name change. So we continue to function as Robotics Plus as a unit of Yamaha Agriculture. They will continue to be based here. In fact, we've got our new building Tauriko that we move in within the next couple of months. So you'll see some branding up there with RP and Yamaha Agriculture on the building, which is going to be cool. But no, it's business as usual for Robotics Plus. All the staff stay here in town and probably still continue to grow. Yamaha sees the real opportunity in the talent out of New Zealand, so that was very much high on their list. And also New Zealand as an agricultural country, the opportunity around dual hemisphere testing and opportunities. So very much what will likely happen is you'll probably see more from Tauriko will be more the R&D manufacturing, and you'll see sort of Yamaha Agriculture really driving the in-market in the likes of the US and other places in the world.
And what made, I know you've been with Yamaha for about 8 years now. You're a very strategic operator. What did you see in Yamaha as a partner for Robotics Plus?
Yeah, I think like any startup, there's a number of things that we thought about from day one. The first one was we needed to think global. New Zealand doesn't have the scale from an agricultural perspective. So if we were going to help solve New Zealand problems, we really had to create scale on the global stage. So we set about being global from day one. The second one was about where do we take money from. Is a really important decision in our journey. We felt agriculture, or ag tech in particular, is a long game. It's not a short game. So we felt venture capital and other forms of capital weren't necessarily the right fit for us. So to be fortunate enough on a fateful day in 2016 to bump into someone in Yamaha Ventures was, I don't know, serendipity or whatever you want to call it, but, it was just this moment in time that we bumped into the right people. At the time, they just set up their venture fund in the US, looking to invest in different verticals to see what opportunities might exist for Yamaha in the future. So to meet them and then be offered investment from a corporate made total sense for us that for that longer game. We're in hardware, we're in ag tech, we're obviously software, AI, all those things, but ultimately we're a piece of hardware as well, and the hardware is a hard business to scale. As you start to scale, the working capital required to build hundreds of machines, etc., just becomes a big number. So we also thought about Yamaha in terms of, it's a 137-year-old company its brand is synonymous worldwide for its quality and engines, manufacturing, etc. So to have that sort of backing behind us, that expertise behind us was a real key part of that decision as well. And, that's played out very well in the way we've been able to visit their factories and learn from their processes. But what's really interesting is, they've been seconding people into us as well to learn from our processes, because a large company like Yamaha over time becomes very corporate, whereas we are really fast moving. So for Yamaha, it's been really exciting for them to sort of link with us as well.
I guess we're familiar with some of your products. So what are you specifically selling, particularly I know you've scaled well into the US market? What are your main kind of products there?
Yeah, so I guess we've got 3 products in market, and like always, we had to start somewhere. So our first product was our robotic fruit packing, and that was really, I guess, the journey of being able to prove we can build something. How do you take that? How do you manufacture it? How do you distribute it? How do you support it? So all those lessons were super critical for our business as we were scaling up, to understand those processes. Often investors will say to me, the prototype and the idea is the easiest part of the journey, but how are you going to scale it? How are you going to distribute it? How are you going to manufacture it? How are you going to service it? How are you going to support it worldwide? So Apple Packer was a really great product for us to cut our teeth on and get those learnings. It's never going to be a huge market, but it was really important market for us. It was an important product for us to get those early learnings. We also did the robotic log scaling and mobile log scaling for Cube here in Tauriko, which was again another an important learning. Some of that was again showing further our ability to take what we created from an Apple Packer and expand it into another product. But it's also around how we develop the sort of business models that work as well. And that was a great model where we sell the hardware, but we also get a recurring revenue from the software, the AI side of the business. And then the third product really, which has always been our longer term focus, was the autonomous vehicle. So the Prosper unit. So that's a fully autonomous diesel electric vehicle. So which goes into, we've targeted the 2 verticals at the moment being wine grapes and apples. The machine can fit in both with some different configurations from a sprayer or a herbicide unit. But that's a multi-use vehicle. So really that's where in Washington, for example, we have customers like Stamilt who, one guy can run 3 machines doing all the spraying. You can train 2 guys and they can run for 24 hours. And cover a lot of ground. So this is I guess in agriculture for specialty tree crops, the last bastion is how do we reduce labour, how do we get cost out? And then if we think about the Prosper, it's also the things like carbon zero. So it's a fully electric vehicle. It's just driven by a diesel generator. So we've got 70% more fuel efficiency than a tractor, because the engine just idles to generate electricity for the electric systems.
And the drivers of that from your customer's point of view, is it labour mainly, or is it the desire to be a bit more precise about?
I think it's a combination of multiple things. Labour is one thing. The cost of labour in agriculture is getting higher and higher, and being able to get labour to do these jobs is getting harder. It is that efficiency, it is that accuracy. So, with a Prosper unit, drives up and down that row all day long at a set speed, delivering exactly what it said it's going to deliver. And you can actually, get a map to say it's been up every row, it hasn't missed a row, all those sorts of things. And then the third thing is that, around the sustainability or the pressures on having been more accurate in the targeting of your chemical, from that side to the fuel efficiencies and heading towards that carbon zero. So we've got customers that want to be carbon zero by 2030 in California, for example. So we went with diesel instead of full electric because battery technology is not quite there for us, particularly with a payload and long operating hours. But over the next 5 years, I'm sure some of that technology is going to get better. So we can just swap the diesel engine out for a battery, or alternate fuels like hydrogen or biodiesels might come along, so we can convert that diesel engine into to those forms as well. So it gave us the opportunity, and it's been really well received in market. We're the only one in market who's gone with a hybrid approach, and farmers love it because most of them don't have the power infrastructure to, have a fleet. I mean, I know we see the Monarch here in New Zealand in the cherry orchard, but it's 2 hectares. Some of my customers farm 10,000 acres of apples, so they'd need a Walmart car park full of chargers to charge all these batteries. So thinking about the market and understanding it's been a really important part of the journey as well.
Yeah, and just for other exporters, I think my observation of you, Steve, is you've spent a lot of time in market understanding customers and understanding where things are going and who you should be talking to. Are there lessons in that might be useful for other local exporters?
Oh, look, I think we've always had and I guess I've always had that motto all my life. It's about partnerships and relationships. And, I can name the 12 key people in Washington that matter. And so to build those relationships and partnerships with 12 of the biggest apple producers in the world is critical. And it's also like our partnership with Yamaha, building that relationship with Yamaha has been critical. So, a lot of people go and chase lots of small farmers or individuals to try and get something, whereas our strategy has always been build the partnership and go on the journey with those partners. So, and in fact, I'd say now a lot of the big guys in the US would be talking to me more about, playing a leadership role because, we're talking 5th generation families that have farmed huge acreages for many years doing it the same way. And now this new technology is coming on, and this, to be able to shift paradigm from what you've done for 5 generations to then start adopting new technologies and the uncertainty around that, you actually end up being more of a playing a leadership role with those partners. So, having the knowledge of ag, which I have coming from it and been in it all my life, and being able to go and open those doors, have those conversations, help lead those changes, has been a big part of those relationships. In America, it's all about trust. It's a big supply chain. If you're going to go in there and they're going to take your technology, they want to know they can trust you. They want to know that you're going to perform, you're going to be there, you're going to make it work. Because if you let any part of that supply chain down, it's a big problem because it's a big supply chain. So, I take a really simple approach to America. It's a massive scaled supply chain. And if you're just one little piece of it, you've got to perform in that piece. Otherwise, you're out the door and you'll never get a look in again. So, it's all about trust. And, I found COVID probably the hardest time because in America, it's Zoom calls are Zoom calls, but there's nothing like kicking the ground, being up there face to face consistently. So, I've spent a lot of time traveling back and forth, but that's been the magic sauce in my mind about making the progress we have. And that progress obviously played out well with Yamaha. Yamaha have a very similar view around being a partner as well. So, they've had conversations with those big players about them being a partner and being here for the long term as well. And that all gelled well with us, the culture, the partnership, the long term. That's all those things coming together. It's just, been really exciting.
And how layered is your partnership with Yamaha? I mean, I know you're connected at board level. Presumably you entered at some stage in their organisation. How has that evolved?
Yeah, it's when they first invested in us, I think I hate to quote these things, hope this doesn't make it to Japan, but I think in the first year we had 30 or 40 Yamaha executives visit Tauriko, which is a really funny thing. They're just flying in and out and no one would really know what was going on. And we built really strong relationships with very high level seniors within the Yamaha organisation. And, they became our champions, essentially. That helped get the deal. It wasn't the easiest deal to start with because we're all set to do the investment in 2017, but Yamaha had a restructure. So all those champions we had said, we'll have to wait another year because there's new people coming into some of these roles. So we had to wait for that transition. That's where the venture fund supported us through that time frame with a small check. And we had to, 2018, rebuild those relationships again to do the bigger deal. And then, right up to COVID, we had a lot of back and forth with Japan, learning their systems, processes, visiting their robotics division, visiting their manufacturing division, things like that. But post-COVID, it's been a lot more involvement with the Yamaha team in the US, which have really been starting to build out the strategies of new verticals for Yamaha, and putting together a case to go to the Yamaha board to say we want to chase agriculture. And as you know, that they were successful in that, and we're on our way. And the exciting thing for me now, I get out of bed now, and for the next 3 years, it's my role to help build Yamaha agriculture platform, which is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that. I mean, I've seen you firsthand pour a lot of time and effort into Robotics Plus over the course of time, and that's not been easy. You've been away a lot. I understand that you and Alistair, the founder, are staying on board for a little while. What's next for you?
After the next 3 years, or for the next 3 years?
For the next 3 years.
Yeah, well, that's obviously, our deal structure is an exciting deal where, they recognise the value in the business to Alistair and I now, but they've also incentivised us very well to help them build out the platform. So we're both, Alistair and I, committed to another 3 years to really see Robotics Plus through, but also it's a lot about building Yamaha Agriculture USA, which is, that's going to be an exciting time. And I think after that I might retire finally, but I've been doing this for a while. But I think for Alistair, I think the opportunities are really, really exciting. And I also think for all our team, the opportunities are going to be really, really exciting. So there's going to be opportunities for some of our staff to travel and spend time offshore in different environments, and vice versa. We'll see a number of Yamaha staff come and be based with us here as well. I think for everyone, there's a lot of opportunity this creates. So both Alice and I are really super excited about the go forward. And it's been interesting watching media comments and people saying, you sell out too early. I don't think we sold out too early. I think we sold out at the right time. We'd done enough to get a good deal to make this thing go further and wider and be something greater. And I think, the cost of capital to build an ag tech company and a hardware company is immense. And we think the timing's a great thing. I think importantly for me always has been in the back of my mind is, we have a team of 130 here, and that's going to grow. But for me always that's a big responsibility. You got 130 families that you're feeding, and make sure their jobs are secure. So again, ensuring a stable and secure future for our staff has been a really big part of it.
Yeah, and you've got a new factory opening out of Tauriko as well in the near future.
Yeah, so our new factory, we start moving manufacturing in there in end of March, and the rest of the team moves in at the end of April. So we're very excited to come back together. We've outgrown our sites, and then it's been difficult in Tauranga to find a location that actually works for a business like us, because you've either got industrial, which doesn't like too much headcount, or you've got the city, which doesn't like manufacturing. So when you're a unique entity like Robotics Plus, it's been a real challenge, finding a location where we could build our future home. And thanks to Bryce for providing a site in Tauriko that's allowed us to do that. But we're really looking forward to that. We wanted to build a special building that was going to house us and future growth, and we're not far away from moving into that.
Yeah, and that's purpose built for you. Quite a big site, will allow you to do what you do now and then some over the course of the next few years, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've sort of built that building with growth in mind. So that's a good indication with the acquisition by Yamaha that they're focused on remaining here, because that's a significant commitment from a building and premises for the future. So that's a good indicator that we're not going away in a hurry.
Awesome, and we'll look forward to having a look through that.
Yep.
Sounds really exciting, and I know from the designs that we've seen it looks really cool as well.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great space. We're really looking forward to that, and we'll certainly be having an opening and a celebration when that comes.
Yeah, as you rightly should. I think just to kind of close things, like it's a huge achievement, I think, to do what you've done. So you should be very proud of that. And I'm sure, having hear what I hear out there, there's a lot of people kind of with a lot of pride in Robotics Plus, even though they might not be associated with it. So what a wonderful thing, I think, for New Zealand for that to happen. Have you got any kind of final words you might want to say?
Yeah, no, we've really appreciated the support that we've had from many people in early days of government support through the various entities. I know they're feeling it with restructure at the moment, but that's been critical to access. We've always sold New Zealand to our overseas investors. That it's a great place. It's the support from government, the fact that we are great. We have a great agriculture sector here. We've got a great science system, a lot of smart people. That's boded really, really well. It's a really simple game. Are you solving a big global problem? Have you got the team to deliver it? And here's the money to go and win the race. And that's essentially what our basic model has been, is build a scaled team from day one. You wouldn't say the size of our team versus revenue matches, but that doesn't matter. It's what is the big game that you're chasing in town, and if you're making the right steps towards that, the capital is there to support that, because that's how the model works. It's about who's going to win the race.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Steve. I mean, especially for taking the time to have a bit of a chat. Hopefully it's helpful for our members. You're the busiest person I know, so I really do appreciate you taking some time to have a bit of a chat about it. And again, congratulations on a great outcome, and for you personally as well as the rest of the team.
Thank you, Nigel. Yeah, that's awesome. It's great for Tauriko.
Yeah.